I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I want to talk about the sign Taurus, and as an ascendant, what this could mean for you, because if you have Taurus as your ascendant, Taurus is a fixed earth sign. Fixed in quality, meaning stable, non-moving, can actually be stubborn, because we've always heard of the bull being stubborn, but actually, in my opinion, Taurus is not the most opinionated and fixed sign of the zodiac. My personal opinion is Aquarius can be the most rigid and stuck in their beliefs, because Aquarius is the mental qualities, so they can be very rigid. But Taurus is fixed. The fixed signs are going to have the quality of being stubborn and fixed in their ways. But it's an earth sign, and Taurus is very caring, and it's very loving and sensitive. With this makes Venus, which rules Taurus, the ruler of the chart. So Venus also rules the 6th house. So you see, this can be a little bit why the Taurus is a bit stubborn, because the 6th house is kind of a feisty house that people deal with being strong, determined, ambitious, but ambitious in kind of a hidden way, because Venus is not the kind of planet that looks like it's going to fight. So the Taurus seems peaceful and calm, but at the same time very stubborn. So this is the quality of Taurus. And Venus, as the ruler of the 6th, can be that they can have their fair share of enemies, with the planet that rules the ascendant is also ruling the 6th house. And health matters are very important, and Tauruses are generally involved in some way in health and healing. Mercury is their money planet, because Mercury rules the 2nd and the 5th house. And the 2nd house being the money that we earn, but the 5th house is a triconal house that is very auspicious and very fortunate. And for Mercury to rule the money house plus the 5th house, this is the planet that's going to bring them wealth, finances, and money. And Tauruses are very good at bringing money in, because of the quality of Mercury as ruler of the 5th and the ruler of the 2nd house of money. So going to the 3rd house, the moon rules the 3rd house, so they have very sensitive brothers and sisters. And sometimes they can be fluctuating, they can be changeable, moody, not always consistent in how they are and how they feel. The sun rules the 4th house, and generally Tauruses like working with real estate and property. And it can also depict that they have very strong and independent mothers that can definitely be a part of the workforce. When we come to relationships, Taurus has some pretty difficult and sometimes very feisty, determined, and sometimes combative partners in relationships. Why? Because Mars is the planet that rules their 7th house, as well as Mars rules the 12th house. So this can be about losses in the area of love and relationships, that the partner can sometimes leave or not be around or not be attentive. But it can represent losses when it comes to the area of their relationships. And because it is Mars, ruler of the 7th, they are drawn to very independent, fiery, and determined and ambitious partners. Jupiter for Taurus ascendant rules the worst houses, and even though Jupiter is the great benefic, Jupiter can be looked at for Taurus ascendant as the worst malefic. So what do we call this when a planet is a benefic but because of house rulership, it becomes a malefic. We call this a functional malefic. And Jupiter, by the fact that it rules the 8th and the 11th, remember the 11th house is a great house. It represents gains and friends and competition. But the ruler of the 11th house is never a good planet for the chart. It just isn't. And the fact that Jupiter also rules the 8th house, this makes it the worst planet for Taurus Ascendant. It brings problems around excess. Too much of a good thing can create problems, and it can even be something to the fact that Tauruses do love to eat, and they can sometimes go over the top and be excessive. So that needs to be watched. I've noticed before that those with the Taurus Ascendant, when Jupiter transits over their first house, it's not a good thing. They can have problems with their weight. And I even noted in the famous person, Christina Onassis, with Taurus Ascendant, that when transiting Jupiter crossed over her ascendant, she died. And that could be because Jupiter rules the 8th house. Saturn, likewise, conversely, for Taurus Ascendant, is the best planet. So because it's a natural malefic, it becomes a functional benefic because it is what we call the Yoga Karaka planet for Taurus Ascendants. It rules the 9th, the most auspicious house of the chart, and it rules the 10th, which is the most powerful angle of the chart aside from the first house. So the fact that it rules both a triconal, and which is the 9th, and an angle, which is the 10th, makes it a Yoga Karaka planet. So in other words, this planet forms Raj Yoga in a chart, the Yoga of Kings. So wherever Saturn goes in this chart will bring great benefit and opportunities, particularly around issues of work and career, as well as luck and fortune. And therefore, those with the Taurus Ascendant may have very valuable teachers, because the 9th house is the house of teachers, and they could do very well through hard work in school and higher education. Furthermore, they may have a father that they totally respect and look up to, because the 9th house is the father, and Saturn's rulership of both the 9th and the 10th can represent a very respected father. So then what we're looking at is we have covered all of the planets' rulerships for Taurus Ascendant. So what are the best planets for Taurus? Once again, it's definitely going to be Saturn, Mercury, by the fact that it rules the 5th house, and Venus. But they say that Venus, because it's ruler of the 1st but the 6th, it's not quite as good as it could be. So they can be sometimes an enemy to themselves. And this is what needs to be watched when the planet that rules the 6th and the 1st are one and the same. So Taurus is that sign that is fixed earth, and an earth sign's all about material things. And most of the Tauruses that I know have a love of nature and beauty, because that's what Venus is all about, but more with the natural sense of flowers and landscape and the mountains and the outdoors. They feel totally in sync with this kind of environment. They love beauty. They can be involved in fashion design and things of that nature. But Taurus is a very strong and reliable and a beautiful sign, can have physical beauty because of the Venus rulership. So with that, I'd like to close. And if you would like to know more about astrology in any respect, you can always go to my website, which is galacticcenter.org. Or if you would like to learn more about Vedic astrology, please go to my university, University of Vedic Astrology.com. Thank you.